Good afternoon. As you can see, you just witnessed a cluster meeting with some of my peers from the math department. Once again, I work in special education, so I serve as a co-teacher, and my job is to go in and assist my special education students to be able to function in the regular education classroom setting. So some of the discussion that took place in that particular cluster meeting was directly related to what the general ed teacher has been charged to do by the master teachers. When we entered the class, as you can see, we had a very small group, just 3 teachers as well as 2 master teachers, and we started with a 4-corner activity. They listed, had several different questions that came up on PowerPoint, and whatever question that we thought the answer fit, we would go to one corner for A, another corner for B, another for C, and another for D. This is a strategy that the master teachers have used in our cluster several times, and it's something that we can use in the classroom as an icebreaker, as a bell starter, as to get the hook to a lesson. It's something that we can use to get our students up and active, but they'll still be engaged in the learning experience. Also, they gave us a friendly reminder, a hint to look for those students who kind of lag behind and who kind of go along with the rest of the crowd. Those may be the students that you need to focus more on in regards to making sure they have a better understanding of the material that you're presenting. You may throw in some average questions, but then you need to make sure that you weave or interweave some current curriculum and current information that you have covered into the process to check for knowledge of what the student has been able to retain. We moved on from 4-corner activity into a interrelated reliability exercise where 2 general ed teachers exchanged some formative assessment data, did some focus quizzes in their class on several different things that they've been teaching in their class, and each one of us as teachers had a chance to look at that material, look at that data, and our task was to see if we would have scored similar to what that teacher scored on those particular questions for each student. In doing this, we looked at the characteristics, high characteristics, medium characteristics, and low characteristics. And what we want to do is, while we were looking to see if we would have scored that same score for that particular kid on that particular question, we also looked for specific characteristics that jumped out for the kids who did well, those who did okay, and those who didn't do quite as well. Under the high categories or characteristics setting, we saw that most of those students, if not all, they had correct answers, and they had good justification. One thing our state has been pushing this year is that when a student answers a response question, something that's written, they have to justify how they got that answer. In other words, no longer do we just guess or take a shot at what the right answer could be, but if you got that answer, they want you to prove in writing how you actually was able to get that answer. And so those students who scored high, their characteristics showed that they had correct answers, plus they were able to show good, if not great, justification. And so for those students, to keep them moving forward, to push them to higher heights, we said that we would increase rigor. If they're already doing well, we want to increase rigor to make sure that we keep pushing them. Don't let them get comfortable. Don't let them get set on just doing it a certain way, but we want to continue to push them to be better and to go further and to do more. There was a second group, was the medium group, those who had medium scores. They had some good answers, but then they had inaccuracy. In other words, some answers would be correct and others wouldn't. And then they would have partial justification. They would only have partial justification as to how they got the answer. In other words, they need to go more in depth to show their answer. And so to help them, we would review how to properly justify. We would review how to read and better understand the text. We would review those different things that would be needed in order to understand what it is that they need to do to be more successful on their answers. The medium group, we want to push them to be high. They're right on the verge of getting into something good, but we need to be able to push them to do better. Also, we had a low group. They just had no justification, little to no correct answers. Many of them did not attempt anything at all. Some just said, I don't know, or they just guessed. They really did not put the effort in class into learning the material, and then they did not show that effort in regards to trying to express what they did know on paper. For them, we have to work very hard to get them from where they are to closer to where we need them to be. Some of the same things that we do for medium, we would need to do for them. Review proper justification. Really push and press what justification looks like and what it entails. Also, review text rendering. Look at context clues. And then we have this system that we've implemented on our school called School-Wide Positive Behavior Interventions, PBIS. We would use those PBIS strategies that we've implemented across the curriculum, across the school, to encourage those students to do better, to strive to do better, to do what's needed to be more successful in the learning experience. We moved from doing the interrelated reliability, and then we talked real briefly about our individual growth plans, which we call IGPs. Each teacher on the campus has an individual growth plan that they're responsible for, and so as we do different tasks, as we do different assignments, and as we teach our kids these strategies, we are responsible for listing and documenting those things that we have done to make our kids more successful. We closed out our lesson with a quick doodle where we just quickly jotted down everything that we did in class. We call it quick doodle because that's a way for closure where a teacher can kind of get a gauge of what the students learned, what they remembered, and it would let that teacher know what they may have to go back over or if they can move forward in the learning process. And so today, you saw my participation video. I thank you for viewing. We'll get ready in the upcoming weeks to move on to our leading video. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.